Well, we find ourselves this morning at the Corvette Museum down here in Bowling Green, Kentucky, and we thought, it'd be fun to take a walk through. In this hall, there's a number of new Corvettes, brand new Corvette Grand Sports. I'd sure like to take it home. An amazing car, and somebody's going to take this home and be very, very happy. So why don't you follow along with me. You can see over here we have a white replica of a Corvette Grand Sport, the 63 model. Of all of the Corvettes, they're still the iconic one in my mind, and they're the one that have really given the Corvette its base and its history in tradition and racing. We're going to just sneak through this area here. Here's a little fun fact. Right here's a little model of a British destroyer, which is called a Corvette, and that's where the name Corvette came from. Early Corvettes, a 53 and a 57. The 53, 54 cars were, let's face it, they were pretty crude as far as Corvettes go, and by the time we got up into the 56s and 57s, we were starting to get a much better car, and the car that we were going to really love and enjoy. Zora, the man who was everything to the Corvette, and believe it or not, his ashes are even here, so this is kind of a special place among Corvette fans. Here's an exhibit on our left where we can take a look at how a body is dropped over the frame. Looks like to be a showroom at a Chevy dealership. We have a 67 and a 69 right here. Great stuff. It's lots of fun things to look at in here. And here's another new element in the museum. It's a tribute to race cars. Corvettes as race cars. My favorite's always going to be one of the early ones, like this 57. That's just a cool, cool car. So we have an 89 and a 95. And on the end we have a 63, which was kind of fun about that. It's one of the original Z06 cars. These are a lot of concept cars. The white concept car back here called the Astrovet, which goes back to about 1968. This is what Bill Mitchell had in his mind, some of the things he wanted to do. Here's the black concept fiberglass model car. It's kind of fun stuff to look at. I think you get to build these cars out of clay, something maybe that you did when you were little. Probably not to that level of expertise. And then back over here on the right, you can see what the hydroform rails look like, and this is the basis. This is what your new Corvette is put together upon. Not very exciting to look at as it sits there. This is a crash test car. It's a sad looking case. We're working our way to what they call the cave, or where the infamous sinkhole is. This was sort of a little recognition they could have lived without. Everyone now knows when you say sinkhole, well, that's got to be the Corvette Museum where all those cars were destroyed. And that occurred back on February 12, 2014.
It was cringe-inducing moment when you saw this massive sinkhole swallow 8 beautiful collector cars.
This is the display area, which is actually on the grounds of the sinkhole, and if you look at the floor, they've even outlined where the sinkhole was, and obviously they've gone back in and repaired everything, pulled the Corvettes that were in the hole, and they've restored some of them, and they've left some of them in their original condition. You look up at the ceiling, Larry Sonota and Harley Earl and Zora, Bill Mitchell, Joe Pike, Dave McClellan. I mean, there's just lots of names in here. The little black 62 Corvette, which is up on the lift, that fell into the sinkhole. Just an absolutely perfect, pristine Corvette. Well, things happen. So the Corvette, it fell in the hole, and they decided that they're just going to leave it in the condition that it was. But the one that gets everyone's attention is this 2001 that fell in, and it was just mangled. You can barely recognize what it is. Apparently falling into a big hole is hard on you. There's the 1 millionth Corvette that was made, the little white one. Over here we have the 1983 Corvette. Yep, the 83 Corvette, the car that never existed. 43 of these were made, and I was fortunate to be one of the guys who got to drive these original cars. But as you know, 83 didn't happen, so we go from 82 right to an 84 Corvette. Well, it'll never be sold, never see the light of day, so to speak. We have the 57 Corvette Super Sport here. That's really a nice piece. I mean, if you want to know about Corvette racing history, this is one of the cars that you're going to find out a lot about. Well, that's about it. So if you find yourself down here in Bowling Green, you really ought to come by and see the Corvette Museum. It's a worthwhile stop. Thank you.